Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Diablo 4 and my thoughts on the upcoming Season 1. So earlier this week, I believe it was around Thursday, give or take, we had a live stream from the Diablo devs where they talked about, the future of Diablo 4, stuff that they're going to be bringing to us in Season 1, as well as a couple of more tidbits that we're going to get into in today's video. And before we even begin, one of the things that I would like to commend the team on is the format of this live stream. I greatly appreciate live streams like this, where basically you just get a bunch of developers and they just sit down. It's not just developers, it's also the community manager over here, the general product manager, but basically you get a bunch of people that are working on the game. You just sit down and you talk about stuff. Like if you actually watch this live stream, they swap people in and out live. At some point, Rod Ferguson is speaking behind the camera, and some people might look at that and say, oh my God, why couldn't they put some production value in this or something? To me, it's like, no, this is exactly what I want. I want it raw. I want it uncut. I want them to, just actually have a proper conversation, because it just feels better as someone who actually enjoys the game. As you guys may or may not know, I enjoy Diablo 4 quite a bit. I have a lot of criticisms when it comes to Diablo 4, but I still think it is overall a really good game, and it was a lot of fun that I had playing it. You guys can check out my review if you're interested in that. And the format that they're using for these almost like developer diaries is something that I very much appreciate. So I just like to bring that out. However, not everything is good, because another thing that I would like to bring out is please get rid of Diablo Immortal mentions when it comes to this, because I don't want to hear about that game. Okay. This is probably too much to ask. It's just, look, I don't like Diablo Immortal. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear a damn thing about it. So I just want these to be focused more on Diablo 4, but obviously that's not going to happen. They even launched a new class, whatever. But if you guys want to know Diablo Immortal news, go watch this live stream, because I don't like talking about Diablo more. Anyways, the gameplay footage that you guys are watching in the background's got no spoilers or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about it. This is when I was pushing. This is a live stream from when I was pushing from World Tier 3 to World Tier 4. But let's get started with some of the things that they brought up during this live stream. One of the first things was Helltide chests can now drop unique items. And I have a couple of things that I want to talk about this, because number one, I thought that this was already a thing. Look, I avoid looking up too much information when it comes to a game that I'm enjoying, due to the fact that a lot of the times there is some joy in discovery. Unfortunately, in this game, we have a situation where, the unique items not dropping on Helltide chests, I think, was completely ridiculous. Apparently, at some point, Helltide chests were even dropping unique items with increased frequency, which caused me to dive a little bit deeper into this rabbit hole of unique items. And apparently, there's these uber unique items that are extremely hard to get, to the point where I think a couple of weeks ago, a developer had to come out and tell people that, no, these items are actually in the game. It's just none of the millions of players that have been playing the goddamn game have managed to loot a single one of these items. And I'm like, okay, look, there are a lot of people that are absolutely no-lifing this game, and you are telling me that we've barely seen some of these uber unique items drop? Why the hell are they even in the game at that point? Because you're talking about items that are build defining, and they don't drop because they're too rare. The drop chance is too rare. And here's the interesting thing, because I'm very much familiar with the Blizzard player base, and I know that, my player base is more around, my audience, that is more around Dark Souls, Monster Hunter, these types of games, right? But let me tell you something. An interesting thing is that a lot of people who play Blizzard games will actually come out and defend this, you just want everything handed out to you. You don't want to have to work for it. It's work for it? Bro, if I'm coming home from my job, the last thing I want to do is work. I want to jump into the game and I want to get some goddamn dopamine fed into my brain. And the rhythm at which that dopamine gets delivered to my brain better not be at a point where I'm like, oh, this item is literally impossible for me to get, whatever, don't care. Come on. I think that they need to sort out that uber unique item situation, which is not really something that they talked about all that much in this live stream. I'm not sure if this is, because again, I think that the Blizzard player base just doesn't complain about those items all that much, so they might as well not exist. Now, me personally, when it comes to Diablo, I've been jumping in every now and then, but ever since I got to World Tier 4 and my build kind of came a little bit online, I haven't really been playing it all that much because I was kind of disappointed with Summoner Necro. And I know that a lot of people are going to point out, well, Rurikhan, Kriparian made a video about summoning Necro. He was kicking ass. Yeah, because he has the Ring of Mandelm, which is another... I don't think it's considered one of those uber uniques, but I've done loads of goddamn dungeons and the thing won't drop, so I don't know what to tell you. I've been basically mashing through Nightmare dungeons nonstop. The ring will not drop. I think that Crip got 2 drops of the ring, but Crip plays an exponentially more hours than I do, so it is what it is. But yeah, I've been slowing down. I've been basically waiting for Season 1. So let's actually talk about Season 1, which is probably the reason why I clicked on this video to begin with. It is called Season of the Malignant. Also, let me fast forward the video here a little bit so that you guys don't have to watch just inventory management and whatnot. But it is called Season of the Malignant, and it is going to bring with it a new storyline. This is a side story type of deal, though. It's not like a main story thing. It's just events that are happening around Sanctuary that are not necessarily related to the main stuff like Lilith and Arius and all of these other things that take place during the main story, which I think is cool. I think it was what is to be expected, because like things that are going to actually expand on the main story are probably going to be the paid expansions, which for those of you that are not aware, there are going to be paid expansions for this game, which I'm a supporter of, to be completely honest. I prefer paid expansions over stuff like season passes or whatever. But the whole theme around Season of the Malignant is that monsters are getting corrupted. They have this corruption infesting them and they become more powerful. And there's a new character that's going to show up. His name is Cormund. I don't know if it's pronounced the way that I typed here because all I have is the only way that I had was to listen to this name as they were talking about it. I think it's like this according to the stuff that happens in the game, but who knows. But anyways, this new character, Cormund, is gonna come to our character and ask for help and like, oh my god, I need help. There's all these malignant monsters that are showing up. They're getting corrupted. And that's kind of like how the story begins. So there's going to be almost like, I would imagine, a mini campaign when it comes to the season that you're going to be progressing through. And then when you're done with that mini campaign, things begin in earnest in terms of the old loot grind and all of that jazz. They didn't really talk about new zones or anything like that, so this is going to take place in the current zones of the game. And what are the mechanics of the season? Because for those of you that are not aware, in case you've never played a season, the whole idea is that you begin fresh. You're going to be jumping into the game fresh. You start a new character. That character becomes a seasonal character, and he does carry some progress of your previous character, namely all of your map exploration comes with you. And that generates favor to give you a couple of things. You're going to get additional skill points, stuff like that when you're starting out. You're also going to have all of the stat points from your statues of Lilith. So, those are going to be some of the things that carry over. But if you want to participate in the season journey and experience the season mechanics, you have to start a brand new character. Like, I know that there's some people out there that still haven't really faced up to this fact, and you're like, oh no, they need to change things. It's not changing, okay? If you want to experience the seasonal content, you need to start a new character. Now, there are some things that are going to be going over to the Eternal Realm, which is where your current character is, and those things are going to be some new legendary items that they're going to be bringing in, some new unique items. You'll be able to find those in the Eternal Realm, but you're not going to be able to get this malignant mechanic that I'm going to be detailing now. So if you want to experience that, be ready to start a new character when Season 1 launches, which, by the way, it launches on the 20th of July. They're going to be applying a pre-patch on the 18th of July. This is just so that all of the data miners can go ahead and get their data mining done and spoil everything that's going to be happening. It's not because of the data miners, obviously. It's to give people a chance to actually download the patch so that when it launches on the 20th, it's going to be ready. But we all know that the side effect of that is that, everybody's going to data mine. You're going to be seeing details of everything about that patch over on Wowhead and other websites that engage in data mining. So if you want to experience things fresh, I would recommend that you steer clear of those websites after the 18th because, all of that stuff's going to be in the game client. They're probably going to be data mining the crap out of it. But anyway, let's get into details in regards to what the mechanic is going to be. So whenever you encounter an elite mob in the world, which in case you don't know, these are like the stronger mobs. Like for instance, you can see right now I'm fighting an elite mob, the fiery Hell-Tide Zealot. He's an elite mob. Whenever you encounter an elite mob out in the world, there is a chance that he can be a malignant. So when you kill it, he's going to drop this corrupted heart. And then once he drops the corrupted heart, you can interact with it. That starts kind of like an event, which summons a more powerful version of the thing that you just killed, and he's going to be accompanied by a couple of minions, which naturally are going to be inheriting some of his affixes and stuff like that, which means they're going to be reasonably powerful minions. This mechanic is going to be active for all seasonal characters from level 1, so whenever you encounter an elite, there is a chance that he's going to be a malignant, and after you kill the more powerful version of this malignant monster, he's going to drop another heart, which is called a caged heart. And this caged heart is basically works like a gem, and the difference is it's way more powerful than a gem. So for this season, I don't think that gems are going to be that valuable, depending on how sockets work in items, and I'll get into more detail about that. But the idea is that this gem that you get is going to have kind of like a legendary affix type of situation. So you'll grab a really powerful item, which is going to have like a malignant socket, which not all items have malignant sockets. And then you put the caged heart inside that socket, and that is going to give you a really powerful legendary affix on top of whatever things you already have in the item. So as you can imagine, this is not going to be balanced at all because Blizzard is legendary at not being able to balance the game very well. I mean, Diablo 4 is already not balanced. This is going to be completely busted. So if you're someone who likes to min-max and likes to have the best experience, you're going to be wanting to be on the lookout for videos from more experienced players like Riparian and Zizaran and Diju and Rax and all of these other fantastic players, and make sure that you check out their channels because they're probably going to be telling, okay guys, here's a tier list for the most powerful classes because of this power or that power or whatever. If, however, you don't care that much like me, just pick up like a new character that you want to play with that and figure out what you can do with these new legendary affixes. They didn't tell us all of them. Obviously, they showed one that was kind of like basic, which gave static charges to monsters and then it would explode and it would deal like an AoE or something like that, so something fairly basic. But they say that a lot of these are going to be very powerful. They're saying that there's going to be 30 new powers based around these malignant gems, so to speak. Now, as I mentioned, these malignant gems can only be placed in items with malignant sockets. Now, they didn't really clarify if every item that comes with a socket is going to have a malignant socket, or if it's going to have regular sockets mixed with malignant sockets or something along those lines. My speculation would be that there's a chance that you'll get a malignant socket and there's a chance that you'll get a regular socket, which will probably mean that item that gets a regular socket is most likely going to be some trash that you'll want to replace later down the line. Now, when it comes to malignant sockets, and this is this is where things start getting interesting. Caged hearts, I mean, I don't know if they call them caged hearts. I don't know what I actually call them. Let's call them malignant gems or whatever. The thing that you get after you defeat this malignant monster that has the legendary affix. They're color-coded, so there's going to be like red, green, and blue or something like that. And then the sockets themselves are also color-coded, which reminds me, was it patch 6.1 or not 6.1, 9.1, 9.2, or was it 8.1, 1. I don't know. It was in World of Warcraft Shadowlands where they had these crazy sockets that you would have to get, and then the sockets would come in one color, but then you'd need to get this crazy drop of a different color. It was something that was universally disliked by most people. As a matter of fact, I think that was a significant drop in the raid tier when it came to that particular Shadowlands mechanic, because nobody friggin' liked it. So Blizzard, in their eternal wisdom, decided like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that, but in Diablo. Credit where credit is due. There are some things that kind of mitigate this, but it is definitely going to be frustrating for a lot of players to be like, oh my god, I got this amazing power in red, and then I got this amazing item that would work so well with this power, but the socket is blue. Uh-oh. That's not gonna work. So yeah, you're gonna have to color match stuff based around the heart that you have and the socket that you have, and that is going to be a bit of a problem. Now, there's also going to be colorless hearts, so these can be socketed in sockets of any color, but these are going to be rarer than the other ones. They're going to be very rare, according to what the developers say. Let's hope they're not as rare as Uber Uniques, because those apparently you need your team to actually come out and inform the players that, hey, they're in the game. You guys are just being very unlucky. Anyway, as you progress through the game, as you can imagine, you know, these powers are going to vary in how good they are. And some of the ones that you pick up early on are probably going to be useless later on. But you can shard them to get new materials. And these materials will actually allow you to get into a much more interesting thing, which is you can craft invokers. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell are invokers? So they're also adding a new dungeon type to the game, which I believe, if I remember the live stream correctly, this dungeon type only shows up after you finish the new story thing for the season. And these dungeons are called Malignant Tunnels. So you jump into these dungeons, and at the end of the dungeon, very much in the same way that when you get to the end of a Nightmare dungeon, you can get something that will allow you to upgrade your like Paragon socket things and whatnot, right? In this one, you get to the end of a Malignant Tunnel, and there's going to be something there that you can interact with. And if you use an Invoker, you're going to be able to choose, hey, I want to get a heart of this specific color. So that allows you to kind of like target the color of the power that you are getting, which mitigates the whole color matching problem that a lot of people are going to experience as they are leveling their character. So while it is a mechanic that a lot of people didn't really, I mean, it's not the exact same mechanic, somewhat similar to the mechanic that a lot of people didn't really like in Shadowlands, they're going to let you target some of these, some of the colors of these powers, which, you know, then that's going to become more interesting. Listen, whenever somebody does something that allows you to target a specific item and that reduces the RNG, certain RNG aspect of loot, I'm all for it. So this whole thing about invokers, good stuff. So you pick up the malignant hearts, and by the way, when you jump into these malignant tunnels, there's a higher chance of having like malignant elites there, so you're going to be farming things. So whenever it comes to farming these new powers, you jump into the malignant tunnels, you kill the elites, you farm the malignant stuff, then you shard the ones that you're not going to be using, you get the materials to craft the invoker, you get to the end of the malignant tunnel, and then you can plop that thing down, and it will increase your chances of getting like the color that you actually, it's 100% chance. You'd say like, I want a blue one, and you hit the thing, you put the invoker in there, and you get a boss that is going to drop the blue thing. You still have to kill a boss though. So that's the way that it goes, and that's kind of like the main mechanic of the season. There's new story, like I said, there's going to be new bosses, there's going to be new legendary items and new unique items that are going to be bringing new things to do and whatnot. But overall, like, my impressions from what I was listening in the live stream is like, okay, so this first season feels like it's just them getting started, but at the same time, I feel a little bit done dirty. Now, naturally, when it comes to the season, you're also going to have the season pass thing, which is going to progress whenever you do activities. There's going to be this whole season journey thing also, which is going to be about, oh, do a dungeon. You get a certain amount of favor points. These favor points add to your seasonal progression. And then as you progress to the seasonal thing, you get a bunch of cosmetic stuff if you paid for the season pass. Otherwise, you get like some lesser, I think there's a couple of lesser cosmetics, as well as some EXP boosts and whatnot if you want to do alts and stuff like that. Now, the reason I'm saying that I feel a little bit done dirty is because, so people who paid for the deluxe edition, it brings the season pass included, which we didn't really know what the season content was going to be like. And the fact that this first season feels like it's very, it feels like there's not that much content there, I feel like is not a really good thing. I feel like you really should have put as much content as you possibly could in your first season, because that is going to be what dictates whether or not people are going to be interested in following seasons. And at least from the live stream, you know, obviously I'll have to wait and see what the whole thing is going to be like, and I will check out the first season, even though the date is really bad because 20th of July is going to be very close to when Remnant 2 comes out, and I also want to be playing Remnant 2. But the whole thing about it, it just feels like there should be more there, because it's like, oh yeah, there's a couple of new items, and there's going to be some cosmetics for you to grind. Go ahead, level up a new character with a couple of new items with some new powers. That's it. And I don't know, it just feels like there should be more to it, because it's the same map, it's the same, you're even expected to do the same side quests if you want to grind the favor to get the additional 4 Paragon points, which is something that I would like to kind of point out, that they didn't really make it perfectly clear, but the currency that you get for your... Damn, I died a lot in this Helltide. The currency that you get for your season pass is called favor, and the thing that you get when you are progressing each of the zones is called favor. I'm not sure if it's clear if that is the same thing. If anybody knows, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, because I feel like if you're doing the seasonal journey, they should kind of like speed boost you into leveling up those areas. Because look, I didn't even finish the areas on my main character because I realized that come season 1, I'm going to be doing all of these things all over again, and then come season 2, you're going to be doing those things all over again. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to really apply myself to finishing all of the favor in all of the zones, because all of these characters at the end of the day are temporary. And if they're going to be requiring you to do activities that are kind of boring, like, oh, let me max out a zone's favor. I don't max out a zone's favor because it's fun. I mean, it's fun to do the side quests for the first time, but I don't do side quests a second time for fun. Like, I skip all the cutscenes, do all that stuff. It's just not as interesting. So I hope that the seasonal journey somehow contributes to also give you additional progress in each of the regions to get to those additional 4 Paragon points. Because if it doesn't, I feel like that's going to be a bit of a problem. But yeah, I don't know. It feels like they should have put more content into this. But like I said, I will have to wait and see when the actual season comes out. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. But I will, like I said, I will give props to the team. I love what they're doing with these developer diary, developer updates, whatever you want to call them. I think these are really cool, and I think they should keep doing these without doing the whole scripted thing that Blizzard is known for doing in a lot of their games. Like, in case you guys don't know, if you look at like an Overwatch presentation or a World of Warcraft presentation, it's all like panning cameras and everybody's sitting in a well-lit studio and everything is pitch perfect so that it works. It's like, no, dude, just give us stuff raw. Okay, you're wasting money on all this production value that nobody actually wants to see. People want the raw stuff, and then the community will do videos and give people summaries and whatnot and commentary and whatnot. And I think that's the best way to go about it, but you know, I could be wrong. Also, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Anyway, I will check this out eventually. I'm not sure if I'm going to be focusing on this or Remnant 2 first, but this is going to last for like 3 months, so if I don't get started right at the beginning, it's not going to be the end of the world. But for now, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you did not enjoy it, the dislike button. Feedback is important. Thank you all very much for watching. Enjoy Hell in Diablo 4, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.